the victory lap though. Whoa, whoa. They ain't never seen nothing like this before. Lit the room when I came through the front door. Ask me if I should overcome, what for? Train in the trees, please pardon my sycamore. Touch burning sands, cross lands and stormy shore seasons in the year, yeah. Ain't no channel for champions and chain no fear. Yup, the champ is here, switch gears. We keeping haters in the rear. At the blood, sweat and tears and my goal so near. I see my victory so clear. I see my victory so clear. And today, we break through. 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 I know it's lonely at the top, but that's not by speculation. But the position that I got, I climb too high to fall, way too hard to drop. Stop clocks on the speed bag. Every yell under pressure, no jet lag. This is greater than trophies and saluted flags. Titles of pain, the cost is paid. Yay, I carried the cross I made. Dealt with the dealer, baby the hand was played. New level, next stage. Learn to lead as a legend. Now tell me what's my next stage, yay. I said the champ is here, switch gears. Been keeping haters in the rear. At the blood, sweat and tears and my goal so near. I see my victory so clear. And today, we break through. 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 And today, we break through.
Welcome to Forever, man.
Let's go. Come on. This forever. No surrender. Yeah. You know that this right here forever. Go. And there will be no surrender. Now allow me to reintroduce myself. They call me J.O. N to the easy E-N. Know that we undefeated. Y'all are beneath them speeches trying to air a grievance. But his lines are overhead. Better check the air for clearance.
Ladies and gentlemen, your Los Angeles Kings.
Welcome back, Kings fans. I'm Jesse Cohen. She is Carlin Bathe. This is Tape to Tape. How are you doing today, Carlin?
I'm doing well, Jesse. How are you?
I'm doing real good, but as always, I have a huge question for you, Carlin. Super important question for you.
Goodness. What is it?
Do you love the LA Kings?
Yeah, duh.
Well, here's your chance to prove it because Mercury Insurance is on the hunt for the LA Kings super fan. You can go to mercuryinsurance.com/Kings to learn how you can win some great prizes. Show the world you're the ultimate Kings super fan. Go to mercuryinsurance.com/Kings or Instagram or Twitter. You can upload photos, videos, prove that you are the Kings super fan. There will be a bracket. Fans will get to vote on who the ultimate winner is. It's going through May. As we said previously, the winner will win an opportunity to do a guest spot on the Fox and Faust podcast, as well as a 55-inch screen Toshiba television, 4 jerseys, a Blaze Pizza gift card, and a bunch of stuff from McDonald's. So, Carlin, go to, well, not you, but you're not eligible. But Kings fans can go to mercuryinsurance.com/Kings to become the LA Kings super fan. Now, last week, Carlin, I asked you to get rid of one kind of fry from regular, crinkle cut, curly, or waffle.
Yep.
This week, I've gone ahead and found out what the 4 most popular pizza toppings are. And I'm going to ask you to get rid of one of those toppings, not just for you, but for the entire world forever. And so your options are no, not one of the most popular, but how dare you?
Okay.
I love pineapple on pizza. Your choices are pepperoni, mushrooms, onions, or sausage.
Okay. To get rid of one of them forever?
Forever.
I feel like that's easy because the only thing that I even eat is pepperoni pizza. So the other 3 can take a hike. But mushrooms, to quote my husband, taste like dirt and they don't belong on pizza. So that's my
He's
take.
not wrong.
He's not wrong. They have no taste and or taste like dirt. So I feel like they're just useless. What about you?
That's
do you have
funny.
A strong opinion?
I do. You and I have come to a different answer, but using the same equation. I do not like onions. And every time I say that I don't like onions, I always hear the same refrain back, which is, why do you don't like onions? You can barely taste them. You don't even taste them. They don't taste like anything. To which I then scream, then what are they doing in my food? If I can't taste them, then what's the point? And I can taste them.
Yeah, they're the strongest tasting topping of all time.
Agree.
What?
When I was visiting my dad a few years ago out in South Carolina, they took me to this burger place, and they're like, "You're gonna love it. It's incredible. It's the best burger place ever, all over the world." And I was like, "All right, fine." We sat down. I took one bite of it, and I crinkled up my nose, looked at it, and I said, "This has got like a ton of onions in it, right?" And everybody at the table, all my family said, "No, what are you talking about? It's hamburger meat." And I said, "No, I'm almost positive this hamburger meat is lousy with onions." So we actually called the waiter, called the chef. And they roll onions in their ground beef, and I don't need it in my burgers, don't need it on my pizza. So
you got a nose for funny business, and you're
well for onion business anyway.
Yeah.
Look, it was unlike onions. It was a bittersweet week this week for the Kings, Carlin. Those are the words that Coach Todd McClellan used. Longtime King, and my gosh, I was stunned. To realize just how long it had been. Jeff Carter was traded away, longtime King Jeff Carter. And, when you think about it, he was acquired in February, I think of 19, or not 19, but of 2012. Excuse me.
Feels like it though, right?
Yeah, but almost 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's strange in my head, he's still a flyer. But when you look at the bulk of his career, it's perfectly clear that he's a king. Um, I don't know if he'll go to the Hall of Fame or not, but in baseball they choose a jersey and a hat for the player to wear going into the Hall of Fame. And if Jeff Carter did go, and if this were baseball, it would be a King's jersey. I mean, the guy was a king through and through.
Yeah, to quote someone who's going to be joining us shortly on the program, he's a legend, right?
Mhm.
And Kelly Cheeseman mentioned that when speaking about him yesterday during an event, and it's just something that you saw throughout social media that was a collective mourning from Kings fans, and that just signals how much of an impact he's had on this organization. It wasn't just a player who we waved goodbye to and wished the best of luck to. People were so saddened, and he should take pride in that, knowing that he is missed and loved so much. Um, it just means how much of a huge impact he had on everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, it
And
was
his
sad,
career's not
Jesse.
done. Well, like we said, bittersweet. This is the bitter
Yeah,
part. His career's not done, so the conversation doesn't need to be had yet. But there were people already having the conversation. Do you retire his jersey? Obviously there are a handful of guys from those two cup runs that will have their jerseys retired. Whether or not Jeff Carter qualifies is a conversation for a later date. But I think that just goes to show you how important he was to the fans and how important he was to the organization.
no
Um,
doubt.
yeah, moving on to the sweet part, it's time to name a king of the week. And I don't think it should come as any surprise that this week we're talking about Alex Iafallo. Um, Signed a big contract on Monday, 4 years, $4 million per year is the average and annual value of that salary. He also scored 2 goals and had a lovely assist this week, as we see there the graphic for his new contract. But Carlin, happy to have Alex Iafallo around for 4 years. Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's a different year, Jesse, right? We're not allowed in the locker room. We're not allowed to see these players face to face, but it would have been something where we all kind of shook his hand and congratulated him if we could. And just a little anecdotal story, in the few moments before I have my Zoom calls with the players for their arrival interviews, we get to talk for, 15 seconds or so. How are you? How's your wife? How's your kids? Blah, blah, blah. With Alex, it was just like, holy crap, man. We had like a holy crap moment of like, that is awesome. This is so cool. And you could just see how pumped up he was about it. And then in his press conference earlier that morning, after the news had broken, you could just see how grateful he was. Hearing Anze Kopitar speak about him that morning too, and hearing Todd McClellan, a Swiss Army knife, that's what they called him, and just how reliable he is as a player. He's just so incredible as a person on and off the ice, and it's just a great signing for the team and for him as a human. So I was just stoked for him, Jesse, and yeah, definitely well deserved King of the Week this week.
Yeah, and not just Anze Kopitar and Todd McClellan. We heard from Dustin Brown. We heard from Drew Doughty. Both of them saying how important it was for them that he get that contract signed. And we heard from Rob Blake, general manager of the Kings, saying that from day one they knew they were going to sign him. This talk of trading him was never really an option. And one of the things that I've been sort of harping on game night, the pregame show before the home games, and on All the Kings Men, the official podcast of the LA Kings, Todd McClellan has said at least half a dozen times this season, and he said it twice on Monday, that Alex Iafallo is a player that other players ask to play with.
Yes.
And he plays more than 90% of his even strength minutes with Anze Kopitar. So as I've said, I'll leave it to your imagination to guess which player it is that's asking to play with Alex Iafallo. So if it's good enough for Anze Kopitar, it's good enough for me. So congratulations again, Alex Iafallo, and 2 really nice goals and an underrated assist on that Kopitar goal from Brown behind the net on Monday night, I believe, against the Vegas Golden Knights.
You love
That's
that
the kind
brownie
of
assist too. You were
I did.
all over that.
I do
Oh
love
my
that assist.
god. I heard you in
Um,
the post game presser, Jesse. Good on you for that one.
but I was kicking myself a little bit because the assist that Alex Iafallo had to set Brown up to set Kopitar up is precisely the kind of play that makes him so valuable, and precisely the kind of play I suspect that gets other players asking to play with him. Right? He went into the corner, went behind the net, caused a little havoc, created the turnover. Without him, that play never materializes. And he's been with the team now for what, 3.5 seasons. I mean, this season is only a half season because it's shortened by COVID, and we're not done with it yet. But 3 seasons and 40 games into this one, and that's what he does, right? He keeps plays alive, he keeps shifts alive, just by hustling and just by his effort alone. And then on top of that, he's got skills. So again, congratulations to Alex Iafallo, not just for the contract, but also for being named this week's King of the Week. We are going to take a break right now. When we come back, we will be joined by the man you referenced earlier, COO of the LA Kings, Kelly Cheeseman. Stick around, Kings fans. We'll be back in a second.
Velarde to Carter now. And Carter. Tic-tac-toe, Velarde. That shot altered by an Avalanche stick. They score!
We're joined now by COO of your LA Kings, Kelly Cheeseman. Welcome, Kelly.
Hey, Jess. Hey, Carlin. How are you guys?
Please, how's it going?
It's going good. We got fans coming back in next week, so that's what I'm excited about.
Yeah, it hit me last night, Kelly, as I was entering Staples Center, and I could see all of the lines being preset, and I could see, the concession workers. The building was coming to life again, right, after a few months of it being sort of a weird ghost town. And I found myself getting excited. Like really excited, really pumped up to have fans back in the building. When is the first day, and how excited is the organization to have the fans back in the building?
Well, our first Kings game is the 20th, April 20th. Lakers are tonight. I mean, I think they're probably opening doors here in 20 minutes. So, they're first out of the gate. So God bless them being the guinea pigs, going through it for the first time. It's been a long, I think, over 400 days since we've had, Kings fans in the building, which is crazy. So I had that same feeling a little bit last night, Jesse, like a weird emotion, a little bit of nervousness, a little bit of it's kind of a weird history moment last night. Like hopefully that's our last fanless event at Staples Center history. So, yeah, a lot of different emotions, but I just can't wait to get fans back in because I know how much we miss them. I know how much the fans miss it, and I think the players are just dying to get the fans back.
A lot of preparation has gone into what's going to be a huge moment on the 20th. And for fans that are, on the fence, maybe thinking about, okay, I think I want to go, I'm not quite sure. Can you discuss some of the protocols that are put in place that you all have just worked so hard on to ensure that this is going to be a nice, smooth, safe experience?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks, Carlin. I mean, we're a year plus into planning for the safety of the reopening of Staples Center. I think when we first left, and we didn't know much about the virus at that point, but I think we were all kind of like, "Oh, this is gonna be a couple months, and we're gonna have to reopen the venue." So all the safety protocols, from upgraded HVAC systems to sanitization systems, touchless ticketing to touchless pay systems, all have been in place for many months now. And, we recommend everybody go to staplescenter.com/safe or lakings.com to see how that's all going to play out for them. But then there's a whole other different levels of preparation, from working with the leagues for the last, 6 months or so to get ready for fanless and knowing what their protocols are going to be. And then, more than anything, working with the state and then the county to get their protocols put in place. And the choices in front of us were, to have a non-tested open environment with no food and beverage at 10% capacity, or to be able to go to 35% capacity and do testing and vaccination checks. And all 3 teams in Staples Center, we chose to go the 35% route for a couple of reasons. One, the number one response from all fans on our surveys for last year is they want safety when they come back, and a tested environment with people that are vaccinated or have a negative COVID test. That's the safest environment that we can provide. And then it gives us the opportunity to get the most Kings fans in the building. And that's what we want to do before the end of the year, is give more people an opportunity to get here. I think it'll be awesome. It's going to be safe. Food and beverage is not in the bowl. That's going to be an experience for us for the year. People have
Where is it? Where is it?
Yeah, great question. You'll be able to order straight from your mobile app. We got a new LA Kings mobile app. You're going to be able to order directly from, pick up at the concession stands, and then there'll be pre-designated locations on the concourse as well as outside in Xbox Plaza and LA Live. We're putting a really good environment outside of LA Live. The game will be on. We'll have Jim and Alex on the call outside. People will be able to watch the game outside, drink a beer, drink a beverage. We'll have food trucks out there. We'll make it a festive environment. We realize some people may watch some of the game outside and some of the game inside. And hey, it's Southern California. What's better?
Love
Yeah,
that.
couldn't pull that off in Toronto or Boston, I suppose.
Yeah, not pleasantly.
No, right. I'm curious, was it a coincidence that the first game is against the Ducks, or did you have some say in when that would be?
No, it's pure coincidence. Honestly, when we're making our final proposals to the state and we lined up when we wanted to reopen, they kind of land at like the 1st and the 15th. It's like a paycheck. That's kind of where they're landing. I had pushed for the 14th. So last night would have been the first game. We would have loved for that to be, because any, more games is better. So just kind of landed on the 15th, just so, Lakers are first in, and then not a bad thing to start this upcoming series with the Ducks at home.
Almost feels like a treat.
Yeah.
Everyone in SoCal's been waiting for hockey. Why not have the two SoCal teams play one another?
Yep.
Oh.
Well, and if you want a big fan response, right, to help push the team, and we've heard from McClellan, and I've spoken to some other people behind the scenes who have talked about the importance of having fans in the building. Kelly, I'm curious, the Kings have, there's been the 50th anniversary celebration, the 100-year celebration for the league, the All-Star game. There's been all sorts of, huge events that you've had to help, navigate through. But how many different organizations did you have to work with on this? And how many different counterparts did you have where you're having to, go back and forth and coordinate meetings and timings? And I mean, it just must have been a logistical nightmare.
Yeah, it's hard to recap the whole year, but I mean, there's been a combination from, all the teams in Los Angeles and Orange County that, we got on the phone, I think a week before things were getting shut down, going, how are we all going to handle this, and what are we going to do together to, to tackle these issues as a county and the teams. Then you get involved with, quickly with, LA County Department of Health and Dr. Farrar's office, who everybody's very familiar, and they were very engaged with us right from the get-go. And she couldn't have made herself more available to all of us. I mean, incredibly responsive given the fact this is a global pandemic, and she's made herself incredibly available to, all the residents and businesses in LA County. I don't know how she does it. And then, working with the state, Dr. Galley's office, the governor's office. I think I was just doing an interview earlier, and I can't put the number just, but I think, outside of a period of time and kind of that November, December, January range where it was pretty bad here in LA, and we were like, we can't be talking about sports. We need to be talking about public health. I'd say over that 9-10 months, a dozen calls a month,
Wow.
between all those entities and the leagues and teams. But it's been an incredible learning experience. It's in some ways I'm some sort of an epidemiologist at some point. Now I think I'm certified. I know more about viral testing than I ever thought I would ever know. And you take those experiences in life, you learn from them and you run with it.
Jesse just got his master's in Zoom and Skype technology.
That's
so
right.
He's right
Yeah.
there with you.
I mean,
Learning
how
new
times
techniques.
we all struggling to find like how to put this all together. Like a year ago, we were like, Zoom was struggling for us, and now look at this. It's like real time.
Yeah, we're zooming.
Yeah. Or Ninja. Aren't we Ninja? We're on Ninja, right?
We're on Ninja right now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't want to confuse the fans. It's like Zoom, everybody. It's just like
Yeah,
Zoom.
exactly.
Zoom's not paying us a dime, so.
Yeah. Okay, we're on OBS Ninja. Look it up, everybody. Not sponsored.
Kelly, I just want to be a worry wart for a second. As I was enjoying my pregame meal in Staples Center last night, I was sort of looking around, and I saw a huge sign that said, "Attention, this is now a cashless location." And so I just want to give an opportunity to remind anybody coming in, No cash, no bags, right? I mean, what are the no-nos now coming into this?
Yeah, and these aren't, I don't think these are all going to be permanent things that are going to happen. I mean, this is kind of a here and now situation to deal with the situation that we have. Cashless venue is something a lot of venues have moved towards the last couple of years. I mean, Apple Pay and the mobile wallet and all of that has been, a factor of trying to get it, speed up the concession lines, which a lot of people complain about a lot. So, to be able to do that and get to that mobile payment system is not only safer, but should speed up the lines for people. We do have what are called reverse ATMs. I'm not sure, how much people will utilize those, but we do have those available where you can download cash onto your mobile wallet. At the same time, I think we all have, Apple Pay or Android Pay or any of those other things available. So I think we'll probably see a lot of adoption there to, changing. I would say as much as it's no bags, I would say it's stricter on bags, Jess. I think that probably got, not sure as a venue and a team and the teams, we handled that the right way right from the get-go because we didn't explain it well enough. Bags are restricted. We'll have X-rays for family bags, for medical bags, for any bags. You have to just use X-rays. That's a new policy that both leagues have. We'll see how that goes. We have lockers available for everybody. So we'll see how it goes, and hopefully adopt some looser policies going into next year to make sure that the fan experience is smooth for everybody.
There's also
I just had this. Sorry, go ahead, Carlin.
I was just going to say, to add to your list of things to worry or not worry about, the bathrooms too. I saw limited capacity. So if people are kind of thinking too, when you got to go, it's not going to be like how it was before where it's completely packed. You're squishing in there to, try and get your line and get in this, get in line for a stall or whatnot. I've already seen signs that are, 6 people maximum. And so that feels very, very safe as well too.
Yeah, I think we've all lived in this world now for a year, right? So we're used to the social distancing aspects and businesses making change to spread out. We have a limited capacity in the venue as well. So, we're going to max out at about 20% capacity of the total venue. So in context of Staples Center, that's only a few thousand people. So a few thousand people and, with changes to it, I think it's going to be very manageable. People will be able to spread out. Everybody will be masked up. Concessions will be out in this indoor-outdoor experience. So I think we've got it set for a good environment. And I love what the game entertainment team's done with the music and stuff this year. And we aren't completely back with all the game entertainment yet. We still have limitations on the concourse and social distancing stuff going on. So we don't have Bailey and the Ice Crew back yet, but they'll be back. They'll be back in the fall.
I always get weirdly emotional for the first goal of the season, and I didn't this year, and it never didn't really occur to me or think about it. But I have a feeling that the first goal that gets scored with fans in the building will be an emotional moment for me and hopefully for everybody else. So Kelly, thanks for joining us, and man, look forward to having fans back at Staples Center.
Getting chills.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Kelly.
Bye.
Thanks all. We'll talk to you.
That was Kelly Cheeseman. We appreciate it. When it comes to a COO, nobody better than Kelly Cheeseman. And when it comes to a starting lineup, Carlin, everybody loves the starter from Jack Black. Woo! Loaded with the superior skincare that the pros love, LA Kings fans can get the starter for just $10, shipping included. Available exclusively at getjackblack.com with the code TEAMJB. The starter has 4 of Jack Black's best-selling skincare and shave products, plus a full-size intense therapy lip balm, SPF 25 in my favorite flavor, natural mint. Here's to the winning combination of the LA Kings and the starter from Jack Black. $10 off plus free shipping available at getjackblack.com with the code TEAMJB while supplies last. And Carlin,
yes,
Follow the LA Kings on social media after the show for a chance to be one of 10 lucky fans to win a clean team gift set from Jack Black. Then go to mercuryinsurance.com/Kings and enter to be the LA King Superfan. We're giving away so much here, Carlin. It's ridiculous.
There's a lot of tasks to do. I gotta start
That's
making a
true.
list here.
Yeah, but look at the payoff. Look at the payoff. I was really glad to talk to Kelly Cheeseman, though, because I don't know why. I'm not usually this big of a worrywart, but I just have this image of fans showing up to Staples Center not having paid attention to any of the new things going on because of and being told at the door, sorry, you can't come in. So go to staplescenter.com as well. One more task for you to go check out all the things.
Check.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
the
right.
protocols and everything that's in place, just so you can show up and you don't have your backpack and your Scooby snacks, and
that's right.
pay attention to all the rules, and you should be good to go.
We've gone ahead and gotten rid of one task for Kings fans, and that is we've done the math. And by done the math, I mean we've gone to the internet where other people have done the math for us. And we've gone ahead and solved the magic number puzzle for you Kings fans. We've got my tweet there with emojis on it, but it's basically, Carlin, how you sort out a magic number is you take the number of points available to the Kings left on the schedule, and you assume that they get every single one of those points, right?
Right.
Then you look at any given team you're looking for, and you say, how many points between that number and where they're at right now?
Yeah.
So we look at Colorado there at the top. The magic number is 3. Any combination of Colorado winning points or the Kings failing to win points shrinks that number down. So let's just say the Kings lose their very next game, which is to the Colorado Avalanche. That would be 2 points the Kings didn't win, bringing it down to 1, and 2 points that the Avalanche did win, bringing it down to 0, which means that the Kings would be unable to catch the Colorado Avalanche in the standings mathematically.
Yeah.
Now, it's not important for Colorado and Vegas, right? Because we're not chasing them.
No.
We're chasing San Jose,
Yep.
St. Louis,
Yep.
and Phoenix, Arizona. Excuse me. Stop myself halfway through there.
The Who?
Yeah, exactly. The Who, indeed. And so you can see there on that little tweet of mine with the numbers, it's not impossible. It'll be difficult, but with 5 games remaining against the Ducks, 3 games remaining against the Coyotes, no games remaining against the Sharks, unfortunately, and I believe 1 remaining against St. Louis. That's a lot of points available for the Kings to win and to prevent those other teams from winning. It's going to take some help from those teams, though.
This is such a weird time in the season, in a weird season in general, Jesse, but it's so weird, even weirder to just think about how close it is and how, as we're looking at the math here, how many different factors come into play. I'm a big fan of it just being cut and dry, it just being like, okay, they're at this point, there's absolutely no way, or they're at this point, there absolutely is a way. I hate the gray area where you are kind of racing to beat a team or 2 out, and it's so stressful. Looking at something like this not only confuses me because of my awesome numbers dyslexia, thumbs up to anybody else who has that, that's really fun, but it's just something that it's scary but exciting too. So it kind of, like you said, shows you they're not far off, and this is totally doable. It's something I don't encourage people to get totally hung up on, because it is,
No.
It'll drive you nuts, but
well, it's a steep hill to climb.
Yeah.
And to help you out with your numbers dyslexia, I'll just put it this way: 1 win for Colorado and 1 loss for LA makes Colorado uncatchable. 2 wins for Vegas and 2 losses for the Kings makes Vegas uncatchable.
See, I'm a verbal and
right.
I'm a verbal learner. This is great.
7 wins and 7 losses makes the Wild uncatchable. But like I said, we're
Mr.
not
Chris
really
puts the graphic back. I'm like,
we're not really chasing those
verbal,
teams.
you say, huh?
What it comes down to is they got to beat the Ducks.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for your husband and for the domestic turmoil that might cause.
He's come to terms.
But the Kings have to beat the Ducks. There's 5 chances left. I know it's a tall order to ask any team to beat any other team 5 times in a row, but that's what we're looking at. And it starts on the 20th against the Ducks with fans in the building at Staples Center. Looking forward to it.
I'm so excited. It's gonna be so emotional. And like you said, that first goal, I didn't even think that far ahead, Jesse, but that's gonna feel like something that we'll never be able to feel again. I don't think that'll ever be replicated, and I can't wait for that moment to happen.
Yeah, it's going to be the first big hit, the first shift, the first puck drop, the national anthem, all the little things that get a crowd reaction. It's going to be a ton of fun. We can't wait to see you there, Kings fans. But we thank you for watching us here. In the meantime, thanks to producer Chris, thanks to COO Kelly Cheeseman, thank you, Carlin.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thanks to everybody behind the scenes at the Kings, and as always, thanks to the fans. We'll see you at Staples Center on the 20th and back here next Thursday on Tape to Tape.